5 minutes. So it's good to physically just be aware of what are you doing with your body, because that really can matter. When you're meditation, we're usually fairly still. And if all of a sudden the body is like, feeling in pain, that's not going to lead to peace and happiness. So just being aware of your physical position. That practice of just kind of grounding here, settling. Oops, I see that Dale needs to be let in. um, and sometimes when we come to stillness, that it's a process, right? So you might close your eyes and just take in the sound of the bell. As the body, physical body, just coming to stillness. There's something about sometimes imagine like a snow globe. You know how you shake a snow globe and then you put it down, right? So it's like we're doing here is we're stopping, but internally there can just be a lot of almost chaos, you know, like, oh, this is the nature of the mind. And so we give everything just some time to settle. You might kind of feel the earth, whatever is touching the floor, your feet, your seat, and even feel like your hands down, touching your lap or something. What does it feel like to stop? I'm stopping. And then that reminder of, oh, right, I've come here to do some work. I didn't come here to just space out or check out. And even if it feels okay, just like 3 deeper breaths. You might feel that softening, or these ways that we um, balance or come to balance where we're both alert. There's that alertness. Okay, yep, I'm here. I'm noticing what is happening right now. How do I feel? What is my attitude? There's also the letting go and the relaxing. You can just notice that your breath actually helps you do this all the time. Like it's constantly working to bring you to balance. The inhale is a source of energy, of just life energy. Every time you inhale, it's a little bit of a zing. But then as you exhale, that's just the letting go, the grounding, even just a little letting go of tension. So we have the energized inhale, and the exhale is grounding. The inhale fills the whole body, like, oh, yes, I'm right here. And the exhale, the ground, we kind of nestle into the earth. And we could drop in that quality of just spaciousness. Like, no matter what is going on right now in my life, I'm not going to push it away. I'm going to practice this opening to how things are right now. I don't need to fix them. In fact, I'm not, that's what I am not here to fix my problems. And if it helps, just let the breath stay a little bit deeper. Sometimes if you're feeling dull or disinterested, that feeling of, oh man, I don't know if I can sit here for 45 minutes. It's just to deepen the breath and get that wave of breath moving through the body. So it's kind of enhanced, like even a bit more, like there's that little jolt of alertness, but then that exhale, that grounding and letting go. So that's when even simple practices like aware of your face, I'm softening my face, the smallest amount, this little feels good, or the throat, feeling your throat soften. Notice your lips. So this is when we notice things we typically don't notice. Like, oh, I didn't realize that I was holding tension on my lips. And now I see it, I feel it, and now I can practice letting it go. So there's noticing tension. Like, oh, that's just my nature to hold that tension. I don't need to hate it, judge it in any way. I'm just going to decrease that tension. And the throat, the soft throat. When we let go of tension just a little bit like this, we get more interested. Like, oh, that feels good. That little bit of letting go of, right? Sometimes imagine these little like thorns in the heart that one by one, like we take out these little thorns. Like, oh, honey, you don't need to do that to yourself. You can soften your lips. Be aware of your belly. Even let that wave of breath move into your belly. One thing that's clear is we're letting go of any habit of pondering others. This is more about your relationship with yourself, not others. Things like relaxing your lips. I mean, clearly, like that's something I do that I could learn about. Oh, that's really leading to more tension. So, and letting go and softening the lips, that matters. A sense of this inner spaciousness. Even that felt sense inside of your mouth, around your brain. So a lot of that first time spent is, I think of it kind of taking inventory in a way of asking yourself, like, honey, how are you doing today? Like, tell me everything. It's like we want to really see what all is happening. And that's why when we stop, I mean, I have found that I can try, I might do some other, mindful activity and yeah, practice it mindfully. There's something about stopping where there really is, and this is taught in many ways, when the container is still, that's when the mud really settles. And keep in mind that, and I feel like I've kind of said this many different ways, but when things settle and when we see things clearly, we often see things that we don't really want to see, or it's, whether it's a harsh truth, like, uh, I'll do this in yoga class sometimes where, just like we did when we bring awareness to our belly, because I'm interested in how the belly is feeling. And notice, this is often called like a co-arising, like, oh, how have I been treating my belly? Like, I don't treat myself well, and um, I should treat myself better. Ways that we eat is going to feel that in the belly, right? The things that you eat or drink, you're going to notice it, especially when we're sensitive like this. So we're building sensitivity, and when we're sensitive, we feel ouch. We can feel the pain, and often that pain is the things that I have been doing to myself. And just to name that, I mean, that's, um, I feel like people who come here are just kind of brave and bold to, really to look at this like, I am interested in taking care of myself. What am I learning right now about what I'm sensing in my belly? What am I noticing? What am I learning? And I know that sometimes we can feel like this is too much. Like, look, I'll do all this mindful work, but don't take away my coffee, or don't take away some of these things that I eat or drink, and like, I know I'm not perfect. So this is so we keep looking closer. Okay, it's true. We're not here to scold ourselves and say, I really should. You know what? I'm going to give up coffee. That's it. Rather, I mean, and I have found this to be true. So rather with the mind thinking, I need to change things, I need to fix, that we just practice getting even more sensitive and feeling the belly. It's like you're listening closer and closer and closer, just being with the belly and feeling that relaxed quality. I'm interested in letting go of tension, not judging. And what can happen over time, that this practice and what we're doing here can have a natural impact on the way that you might eat or drink. And I'm just using this as one example. it can have an impact on how you relate to other people. One observation, I had a teacher tell this story about, like, let's say you've had an interaction like with a relative that's challenging, maybe has been challenging for a long time. And when you even just think of that person, like, it's just like the same thing arises. Like, that person is, I don't agree with them or so. But I heard a teacher once talk about, if you've ever been attended like a family funeral and you see all these family members there. And oftentimes there's just a different way that you're with people when you're at a funeral. The harshness that you felt around someone, it's softer. And that's because at an environment like a funeral, our heart is tender. Like everyone's heart is more tender in that space. It's harder to really bring up that anger, And I thought I appreciated that example because we're tenderizing our heart here. We're becoming more sensitive. And as we do that, like, toward everyone, that it has an effect. So possibly next time you see that person, it might be just harder to, get that intense. So it's kind of transformed. Like changes happen to relationships without thinking about them here, right? So when we move into our practice now, we'll just think of these ways that when I'm letting go of these little bits of tension in a very wordless way, this is going to have an impact. But the work is here and now, right? It's just, I'm going to keep opening to whatever arises. So any kind of, when we're sitting and all sorts of like our unresolved stuff comes up, that we can sit, it's like it's right next to us. We're not pushing anything away. I can just be with this. So let's go ahead and move into our next sit. It's feeling just that feeling of openness, even energy or uprightness. I'm right here. I'm alert. Even that, this way of being with our, what's called dukkha, but it's like whatever it is that's, causing us pain or stress. And I know we have almost that focus of We talk a lot about pain or stress because it's there. It's very natural. But we can experience these stressors or even pain without needing to dislike it or push it away. Just being with, even if there's a physical pain today. So it's a feeling, even physically, whether it's just the softening of your eyes or your eyelids. Notice the balancing breath. So whether you're feeling dull and sleepy, or if the mind is feeling really agitated, this breath will balance. Feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale. Even imagine like your whole body was like a big sponge where when you inhale, the sponge kind of expands and opens. And then as you exhale, there's a little bit of squeezing out of the exhale. You feel that letting go. Your whole body is breathing, and even if the breath is fairly shallow, I feel this wave of breath. I'm aware of my lips softening. In a way, when we are still and clear, again, it's very natural just to see all of our, the issues or problems, and to see this as just nature, and the natural messiness of life. Very natural coming to stillness, that we see everything that's kind of wrong. But as we look closer, we might see this capacity for the heart to open, and in a way underneath, like, hey, wait, there's stuff that brings me joy. As we move back to this present experience, notice the rising and passing if any thoughts come in. They rise and they pass. Aware of the space at your throat. In a way like your whole body is softer. But there's the energy of the alertness, the uprightness. And practicing letting go of tension. It's challenging to open to the way things are right now. We can feel really connected to the world and the pain and suffering in the world. But that feeling in the body is free of any kind of hatred, any form of anger. Like we're not going to look the other way. We're going to be right here. I'm going to feel my body just as it is. This is what compassion does. It moves closer and closer. This deep remembering. I remember that I care. And this is what caring feels like. feeling your whole body. So there's that sense of the feeling. There might be other senses, that sounds you're hearing, rising and the passing. I'll just mention at the end here, and maybe this is something you've learned or noticed, is this really is very curious work. Like in the beginning when I said, we're here to do some work. And it's been described that the work that we're doing is so simple. Like it's almost too simple. This noticing if the mind is irritated, like letting that go, coming back to the present, like, yeah, that's too simple, or and to do it again and notice how many times you have to do it, you know. And it almost seems like, is that really the right, am I doing it right? Is this the right path? But over time, so it can take a while to really learn, like, what am I doing? And then to just keep doing it, even though it might seem like I'm not sure. So I'm going to leave it there.